Writing Daily. Here we go. My name is Devin Galladay. I am your host of Writing Daily, the show that deals with all of the writerly things that we worry about and live by as writers, trying to lead and live the writer's lifestyle. Today we're going to talk about the writerly feelings that come up as we get closer to book release. This is supposed to be sort of like a joyous, happy time. And I have somehow managed for it not. Actually, that's not entirely true, but I'm going to dive into it. For those who don't know, my name is Devin Galladay. Annabelle, welcome. Timothy, welcome. And so before we get into this, my name is Devin Galladay. If you haven't seen me before, I am the editor-in-chief of In the Know Traveler. I've been travel writing now for about 17, 18 years, long time actually, as well as the forthcoming book, 10,000 Miles with My Dead Father's Ashes. I think we're now really almost like within 2 months of the actual final release, the whole kettle of fish. It's an exciting time. And so I've had a bunch of things been going on, and I want to talk about them a little bit. First off, I am now actively looking for places to do book readings and book signings and doing a book tour, for lack of a better description, and running around doing it. And it's, on the one hand, fantastic, and it's also a little terrifying. Not for the reasons you might think. Like, I actually think I wrote a great book. My publisher's happy with it. I'm putting myself out there in a very regular basis. It's just, I think there's a certain finality to it. And of like, at some point, like you get the results of like, did your book sell? Did it not sell? Did people like it? Did they not like it? Like, it's all going in a very, very positive direction, but I'm having feelings about it. And so I know this because I'm going to share an embarrassment with you. And the embarrassment comes from the fact that I received an email from the line editor, the person who's directing the sort of like the interior of the book. That's kind of like the last final thing. In other words, we're talking about font choice, we're talking about title pages, and sort of like the final thing before they sent it off to the printer, and it becomes the book, right? All good stuff, and there is just that measure of like, wow, well, what if it doesn't go right? So I'm looking for all of the things that conceivably can go wrong. And sadly, my publisher is the brunt of it. Not a lot. I think I haven't had much to genuinely complain about. And honestly, Rare Bird has been nothing but fantastic and have taken my calls and dealt with my neuroses with aplomb. I don't even know how to say it any more clearly than that. They've done really sort of a wonderful job across the board of really navigating me, I guess might be the best way to do it, or the best way to say it. And so the issue that I received, or the issue that I had, was when I got the galley, it came to like 160 pages, right? And I assumed that there would be some sort of a font size change or some other thing that made it like a bigger, more bookish, more girth-like book that would make sense to me. Right? I didn't think I wrote a thinner book. I thought I wrote a heavier book. And then, when you get into editorial, all of a sudden it's like, yeah, I don't know if I need to say that. And you're kind of, you're not necessarily giving your readers to go off on every single tangent you choose. Don't get me wrong. There are a few tangents here and there, but mostly I'm staying much closer to what the story is and what it's supposed to be. And by the way, I'm very proud of it. I think the editor that I worked with, Guy, did a fantastic job. By the way, Caitlin, good to see you. I hope you're having a wonderful day. And so I wrote them about my feelings about whether or not the book was thick enough and does it make a difference. And that, the truth be told, I wrote and sent off this letter when I should have just kind of like restraint of pen and tongue. I didn't go that route. I should have. And quite frequently I will with most things. For whatever reason, my feeling was overpowering any sense of brain power, any sort of logic. So I clicked that send button when I shouldn't. The good news is that very shortly thereafter, I sat down with my writers group and literally said, like, here's what we're dealing with. And they're like, dude, what are you talking about? That's like a selling point. We're dealing with people with short attention spans. We're talking about Earth as it is today and not some other day. Like all of a sudden, this became a great book on an airplane by, it's like, I suppose I was raised in an environment of sort of like, well, the Brothers Karamazov. You need a 900-page book, War and Peace, Oliver Twist. We need big, fat, thick books for them to be literary in whatever fantasy land that I'm living in. So the good news is I had my writers group. People came in and like, really? If you're worried about this, these are what the quality problems look like. It's not like you got 50 different negative reviews. What you did is you wrote a book that isn't super long. And in fairness, there are a few really fantastic short books that are really short. Like House on Mango Street comes to mind by Sandra Cisneros, a wonderful writer. I frequently refer to her book as sort of like, here is outstanding literature that has so much to say. So I'm not suggesting I'm that, but I wrote like something that I'm pretty pleased with. So I guess what this episode is really about is kind of sharing what you go through in terms of process, in terms of understanding the stuff as it moves along, because so much of it is out of my hands. By the way, if you like what I'm doing, as always, please take 5 or 10 seconds to consider hitting the like button, or asking a question and letting me know that you're here. That's always a good thing. But either way, I'm grateful that you have joined me and watched me be a bit of a nut. So that's what's happening, is that so anyway, long story short, we spent probably about 20 minutes going over what it was that I was really worried about. And I guess I was going with the idea that my book needed to match what other books do. And by the way, when I say other books, it's not like every single book is 240 pages. I guess I just had it in my head that that's what my book would be. And when that doesn't happen, well, what should I do? Honestly, nothing. I'm going to keep doing what I'm doing and keep talking about my book. I'm going to keep throwing it out there. I'm hoping that, people will love it. And more importantly, because I know people will love it, I just hope that the people that will love this story find this book. That's really what you're hoping for with any writing. I mean, there's, lots of books I read that it's like, this is just not my author. This is just not my thing. And I leave that author and their book alone so that they can find their place and their people who will love what they've done. Because no book is perfect for everybody. This all said, we are on course. I'll probably be expecting a box of books sitting in my living room probably in the next 6 weeks, maybe even sooner. So it's an exciting, perhaps even scary time. And I just have to embrace the fact that I'm dealing with professional people. So we went through this nonsense during the writers group. And almost immediately after that happened, I wrote the publisher and said, wow, I'm an idiot, because really there's nothing else you can do other than just own up to your own nonsense. And I apologize for having subjecting them. Now, keep in mind, when I wrote them a letter, it wasn't just a bunch of name calling and you're the worst people in the world. It was, I think, even under the worst case scenario, it was sort of like, hey, I'm having these feelings about what it is that I'm seeing before me and what does it mean? It was really more of a thing like that. So hopefully, with any luck, my publisher will still publish my book and won't, throw me a bunch of shade when we next meet, because that's probably going to be sooner than later. So anyway, that's what I've got for today. There is a lot going on. By the way, if you are in the Long Beach area, May 22nd, I'm going to be appearing at Gadsby Books at 3 p.m. Darren, welcome. Good to see you. And then I think September 13th, I will be in San Miguel de Allende doing their literary solid there. I'm also going to be at Rorschach September 9, and then I think at Stories following the Rorschach event. So it's going to be kind of a busy thing coming up. I'm also working on sort of like a larger Los Angeles event, and then sort of debating whether or not I should do San Francisco, Sacramento, or both events there. I'm also going to be in October. We'll be in Chicago. and at my sister's in Batavia, where she has a store, which will be fun. And by the way, welcome, Sarah. I'm also going to be in Austin, Texas, for a couple outside of town, and then inside of town, we're working on some events. So there's going to be some traveling for me. I'm also going to be doing a load of podcasts and things like that, because this is what you do as a writer. Like, the fun part is me sitting in a small dark room by myself, and the rest of it is how do we get our work out there. And so that's what Writing Daily is all about. So that's what I've got coming up. And as always, I hope that you are writing. If you have a question, if you need support, I'm always here, because this is how we do it. This is like a we thing. Writing is a solitary act, but getting it out there and getting support is without question something we don't do alone ever. So if you're a writer sitting in your small dark room and you need a little bit more thing, come here, check us out, and always know that I'm on iTunes and Stitcher and Google Play and YouTube, and of course on Facebook and a whole variety of other places. So I've got a subject covering all aspects of writing, and I hope to see you guys here again soon, probably tomorrow, to talk, because I've just got so much stuff going on. I've got to empty it all out. Robin, welcome. Thank you for being here. And I hope to see you guys all again real soon for another episode of Writing Daily. Oh, yeah, and hit the like button. That always lets me know that I'm doing the right thing. Anyway, take care, and I hope you guys have a great, great day.